Welcome back to Quick Canvas Tutorials. I think one of the biggest reasons why painting sometimes feels extremely difficult, especially when you're a beginner, especially when you're starting, is not really because of a lack of skill or creativity. I think it's because you're looking at too much detail way too early in the process. In this episode, I want to show you how to see simple shapes, simplify whatever it is that you are painting, instead of going for the details right away. And this will make everything much faster and easier for you to understand whenever you start a painting. So to me, this is a continuation and a more practical approach to the previous videos in which I showed you how to look for the primary lines and the secondary lines. This will make you see it in a bit more detail and in a more practical way how you can achieve the simplification of your subject. So a problem that might happen whenever we start painting as a beginner is the type of perspective and the type of, let's say, frame through which we look at our subject. Let's say, for the sake of this example, that you're going to paint a tree that you really liked from a park or your garden. You're looking at it and you're looking at for what it is, a tree, and you're thinking about the leaves that it has, the roots, the trunk of the tree, all of these elements that make a tree. Now, painting becomes much simpler when you stop thinking in objects and you start thinking in shapes. So let's put this idea into practice. I promise it'll make a lot more sense once you practice it a bit. I'm going to put three different images on the screen from simple to complex. And I want you to just ask yourself, what is the shape that I'm looking at? Don't think or focus about what you are looking at. Don't ask yourself, what is this? It doesn't matter what it is. I want you to think only about the shapes that you're looking at. Look at the subject and imagine you're only allowed to use 3 or 4 shapes to simplify it. Don't think of the texture or the color, nothing, just those shapes. What are the biggest shapes? What are the second biggest? Go on like that, and again, don't think of any other details. If you've seen my previous videos, then you can also start thinking about using the primary and secondary lines to block in your subject. But for right now, I just want you to practice simplifying those shapes that you're looking at as much as you can. So after having looked at these 3 examples, these 3 images on the screen, you can start to define the shape or the shapes by 3 things: the size, the position, and the overall outline. And these are very measurable things and comparable. When you're working with big shapes, you can check directly whether they're taller or wider, or whether they're placed too high or too low, or whether they're too large or too small in relation to the whole composition. If you start with the details, then you won't have this type of checking or this control over the whole composition. So, like I've said before, if you start by focusing on the shapes first, the simple shapes, then you establish correct proportions before adding complexity, from general to specific. Thank you so much for watching my video. I really hope that you can get something out of it. I believe that once you practice this skill of simplifying your subject onto simple shapes and use primary and secondary lines to block it into the canvas, you'll have a very solid foundation for whatever painting or creative project that you want to do in the future. So, if you really like this content and if you want to keep supporting my channel, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.